Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadlan Simin Abu Bakar, and today I'm going to present to you my final product for the assignment 1, which named Mobile Attendance Check-in for Unikl. So here on the screen, you can see an icon, an astronaut icon, which named Proj1. So for the icon, I used a custom icon for the application, which makes it looks more livelier and beautiful instead of using the default icon which were given by Android SDK. So let's go through the application. Alright, so here every time a user open the application will bring the user to a landing page as shown on the screen here. So in this screen, this page acts as the landing page or the home page, which consists of title, Unikl Mobile Attendance Check-in, and then continued by Unikl logo in the middle, and lastly we have a submit credential button below. So submit credential button will bring or navigate the user to a new page, and in our context that new page is a form which consists of multiple questions that need the user to respond and submit. So without further ado, let's go to the next page. Alright, so here on the app bar you can see the name credentials form. So inside this form we have multiple questions, and we have 3 different kind of input. So the first 2, full name and ID number, are text box which will accept string as full name and ID number, and then number 1 and number 2 we have a check box which consists of multiple string, and the outcome will be stored inside a list. So we have a list for question 1 and a list for question 2. And then for the rest, number 3, 4 and 5, we have radio button which needs the user to respond yes or no. And for these 3 questions, the output will be in terms of string. And at the bottom we have a submit button. So that's it for the form layout. Alright, so in this form, usually when the user opened, if a user just install this application, it will give a dialog asking for permission to use location data. But there is no dialog here because I've already accept the permission, so it doesn't ask again since I already accept the permission. And as you can see here, I already enabled the location service. The application will use the location service to detect where currently my position is when I submit this form. And also in this form, for the first 2, full name and ID number, I've already implemented a validator which needs user to fulfill both text box before submitting. Therefore, the form will not pass null value towards the database. So for example, if I press submit, both text box will give warning, as you can see in the red fonts. Please enter your name and please enter your ID number. So the user needs to obey these 2 warning in order to proceed. For example, if I put here test and I leaves out the ID number and I press submit, there is no warning for the full name since we already put some value inside the text box, but it's still happening with the ID number. So this is more like validator to make sure the database will not receive any null value in the future. Alright, so let's test the application. So I'm going to type my full name, bin Abu Bakar, and then I will key in my ID number for Unikl, and then I will choose for question 1, for example, I choose these 3, none of the above, no, no, and yes. So we've already respond to every question, and we will going to press submit. So when we press submit, and if let's say the data managed to be registered inside the database or the file store, it will give us a dialog just like on the screen, which say thank you for your participation. So the purpose of this dialog box is to help user confirm that the data has already been submitted, and then at the bottom you can see back to home page option, which helps the user to navigate back to the home page by clicking on that button. So when we click on the back to home page button, it will bring us back to the landing page where the first time we arrived when opening the application. So that's about the application. And here you can see on top we have MAC Unikl as the debug ID, and we have also the icon. And here we will go through the Firebase database, which contains the information that we just submitted. So here we have a collection users, and we have multiple of documents with custom ID. So just now we submitted Flutter Wasim bin Abu Bakar, so we need to find that ID, not this one, right here. So these are the inputs that we pass through the forms: the current address Tapa 35,000 Malaysia, and the ID number, the name that we just wrote just now, we just typed just now, and the question 1 in terms of list, fever, cough, and breathing difficulty. Question 2, none of the above, and the rest, question 3, 4, and 5. So this means that all data that we submitted was stored inside the Firebase for future reference. So that's it for this application. Thank you very much.